Mr. President, very soon we will pass the budget for 2026. I will urge this Senate, and indeed the entire government, to ensure that we continue to improve on the resources available to our armed forces. And then we insist on value for money. Give them targets, set targets and time frames. But we must continue to give them more and more resources and make them more accountable and transparent. Very distinguished colleagues, I'm Ahmed Lawan, I represent Yobe North Senatorial District. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Nigeria is at war. That's our reality. And in a situation like this, the leadership of the country needs every possible support from all citizens. It is also time for unity. And let me say, Mr. President, that our armed forces are doing their best.
Senator Zam, approach the chair.
They are doing their best with the little funds and resources available to them. Mr. President, very soon we will pass the budget for 2026. I will urge this Senate, and indeed the entire government, to ensure that we continue to improve on the resources available to our armed forces. And then we insist on value for money. Give them targets, set targets and time frames. But we must continue to give them more and more resources and make them more accountable and transparent. Mr. President, this administration, since 2023, has continued to give more and more resources to the armed forces and other security agencies. And this is because the National Assembly has been supportive too, because we need to approve it before it is finally made available to the armed forces. We should do that, and I want us to remember that today we get more revenues into the coffers of the federal government of Nigeria, and indeed across the country, the states too. Why can't we invest more out of these revenues that accrue to us? Because the security of lives and property, everyone knows, is the fundamental reason why a government exists. And no investor, even a local domestic investor, will invest comfortably in a country where the security is compromised. Talk less of foreign direct investments. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, we don't need to go to any part of the world to beg anybody to come to Nigeria to invest if we secure our country. Why? We are over 200 million. That's a huge and massive market for any product. And in fact, we excel everywhere in the world. Our challenges are within our country. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, we can continue to buy arms and ammunition and platforms from other countries, but that is not the way to go in the long run. Because we bought the Super Tucanos. What happened? So the sensors that we needed on those Super Tucanos were not made available. We have therefore every reason to devote so much resources and make the right policies and legislations for DICON, the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria, based in Kaduna, to function. The president, when he came into office, the DICON Act was one of the first acts he signed. And today, we have some companies that have to do with defense industries trying to come into Nigeria. We have to encourage them. We have to provide the enabling environment through legislation and right policies for them to stay and produce those kind of arms and ammunitions and platforms that we require in our country. They will be cheaper, they'll be more available. Sometimes when we even pay for the purchase in other countries, what will come to us in 1 month could be there for 3 months, or 3 years rather. Why? Politics. Mr. President, so far, the situation in the last 1 month in Nigeria is tense, is tough, and requires full support, complete and total support for the leadership of this country to lead and fight and win against the insurgency and banditry in the country. But one of our colleagues said, this is not to be left to government alone or to our armed forces alone. Citizens have roles to play, but we need to give the citizens the courage to reveal information and protect such citizens who volunteer information. Thank you very much for the privilege to speak.
I noticed, Mr. President, that what is lacking is not the political will from Mr. President. What is lacking is operational capacity and strategies. Within my senatorial district, which has become the epicenter of the crisis in Benue State, soldiers are deployed. In my local government of Gwe West, we have enough soldiers on ground. But as I cried here one time, the manner of posting is the issue. Soldiers are kept along the major road from Makudi to Naka, while the hinterland is left open. And they only react when there is an attack. The bandits are there. The military know that they are there. It's not as if they are not aware. These are human beings. They are not invincible. They have driven away my constituents and they are living in their own villages and in their own houses. So, what is stopping the military from pushing them out? So there is an operational laxity on the part of the military. So that has to be addressed. I commend them. Yes, they are human beings. There may be some logistical challenges. But I think Mr. President has done so much in deploying. There are no soldiers in Gwe West, for example. There are about 5 military checkpoints, but they are all on the road. So what happens? So in one of our resolutions here, we should at least provide a line to encourage the military to be proactive and not reactionary in dealing with this situation. That will be my comment for now. I thank you very much.
Digital. We can't sit here to talk about military strategy, but I think it's something we can suggest, that we don't need to be physically present in a location before you can see that location. So these are some of the issues that we'll put together. Senator Sani Musa. Before the prayer, let me hear from Senator Ninge.
Respect of this very major setback to us as a country.